sort of made me curious about what it takes as this type of purchasing, this have it now economy is emerging. What does it take to keep that moving, to keep ourselves moving, keep our stuff coming to our door to support a family? I thought if I could look at the transportation embedded in my daily existence, it might tell us something about the entire challenge before us. Are we getting better and better at it, or are we about to fly off the rails because we're becoming increasingly sustainable in how we're supplying ourselves? And
Amazon has been the big driver of this in recent history, or is this building on the backs of like the FedEx, UPS infrastructure? Who's the driver of this? It seems to me Amazon has changed everything with this Amazon Prime. And people having the expectation of getting it in 2 days.
But that's not the driver. They are sort of the consequence of things that happened 30, 40 years ago. And the real driver, in my opinion, is the shipping container, the most lowest tech thing you can think of, a big steel box, but it changed the world. I mean, all of a sudden, this incredibly labor-intensive, error-filled, pilferage-plagued system of shipping goods around the world, everything goes in a sealed box. You can load it 10 times faster than an old school cargo ship. Literally made global trade cost effective in a way that it had never been before.
Because they came up with a standard that fit two major criteria. One, it was secure, so it'd be trustworthy. You're not going to lose money. People are not going to be able to open them.
Right.
And number two, you can get them on and off of ships and on and off of rail cars quickly. Quickly
and with a fraction of the labor. A guy in a crane, a guy in a truck driving the container up, bingo, you're done. And you attach a little tracker on it, and all of a sudden you can have an enormous port filled with these things, and you can find any one that you want at any time. And suddenly you have a system that altered a method of shipping that really hadn't changed significantly since the ancient Greeks were applying the Mediterranean.
What was the driver
70s
of
this?
And 80s, yeah. Who drove the shipping container? Was there an individual who had this idea?
Yeah.
Was it China?
No, actually it was what was then and would later become the largest shipping company in America. Of course, we have no shipping companies now. We've given that line of business to others. Maybe a lot of people are happy about that since they're starting to get bankrupt. But it was the Sealand shipping company that first popularized these containers, and they had a ship that you could fit 200 of them on. And now, of course, you can fit as many as 8,000 or 9,000 shipping containers on these big. And sometimes now the latest one's even more on these big container vessels.
These container vessels can hold 9,000 containers.
You can unload in the space of a half an hour and enough goods from one of these ships. Just a half an hour.
In half an hour, okay.
That's not the whole ship. That's just a portion of the ship. Enough containers to stock 5 Target stores.
Wow.
5 empty Target stores. Yeah. So these ships. All right, here's another thing. We are not too far from the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach right now.
Yeah.
Biggest ports in North America.
Long Beach is gigantic.
Yeah, and Los Angeles is even bigger, but they, for all intents and purposes, they might as well be one port, although they have separate leadership and they are separate. 30 to 40% of the nation's consumer goods come through these ports on any given day. And at any given day, there's 100 of these enormous double football field size ships either docked there or waiting to dock in long lines. You can see them miles down the coast waiting. And those 100 ships, when they're out at sea, this is one of the hidden price tags of our door-to-door world. Those 100 ships have the same or greater smog and particulate emissions of all the cars in the world.
Wow.
All the cars in the world.
So these shipping containers are polluting the environment at a level of all the cars in the world, simply so we can get our iPhones and our whatever clothes from China.
Our bikes, 98% of our bicycles come in through that port.
Right.
Most of our clothes, most of our furniture. I mean, you name a thing in your house, it has arrived by container ship. About 90% of the world's goods come to us that way.
Hey, everybody, I want to take a moment to thank Audible for partnering with us on This Week in Startups. I love Audible. You all know that. And they are the greatest platform for spoken word audio products. They have over 180,000 titles in every genre. And I buy about 20, 30 audiobooks a year. In fact, I just accelerated my Audible Platinum program to start 6 months early because I've been consuming so many books while I commute up and down the peninsula here in San Francisco. But unlike other streaming services, you own your own books. That's critical. You want to own your own books. And WhisperSync lets you sync them between your Audible account and your Kindle. You can read at any time in the car. You're always synced up. That's one of the things I love because I have 2 phones, an iPad, and a desktop where I listen to books. I've been listening to this great book, and it's my pick of the week. It's called A Guide to the Good Life, and it's by William Irvine. And the subtitle is The Ancient Art of Stoic Joy. And I read this because it goes through Stoicism, which is a school of philosophy, and you're like, hey, this is a startup thing here. Why would you be talking about Stoicism? Stoicism is a great thing to understand for when you're going through startup challenges. You can really figure out what it is that's triggering you and making you emotional and making you incapacitated, and you can start to appreciate what's going on in your life. I absolutely think that this book, A Guide to the Good Life, The Ancient Art of Stoic Joy, is going to be appreciated by founders and other people who are having maybe a little chaos in their life or emotional situations. You may not become a Stoic, to be honest, but you may feel really good that you've been informed about the concept of Stoicism. You know, some of the other Audible books I've talked about, Creativity Inc. By Ed Catmull. He was just on the program and he was amazing. Decide to Play Great Poker. I talked about that from Annie Duke. Smarter, Faster, Better by Charles Duhigg. I mean, there's just The Man Who Knew Affinity was a great one. So many great books on Audible. Here's your special offer. Go to audible.com/twist, audible.com/TWIST. This Week in Startups, right? Pretty clever. And you'll get a 30-day trial membership. You can download my book of the week for free, A Guide to the Good Life, The Ancient Art of Stoic Joy. Go ahead and get that right now. Audible.com/twist, audible.com/twist, and improve your mental state and your philosophy and grinding it out with startups. Stoicism, I find it very helpful for me. I really appreciate what I have. So go ahead and go to audible.com/twist, audible.com/twist. And I just want to say thank you to Audible. You guys know I've been a fan of the product forever. And it means a lot that literally every year Audible supports This Week in Startups. You don't have to. I know Audible is doing great. You don't need to be involved in these tiny little podcasts, but you do. You support us. I think it's a recognition that we put great content out in the world. And I know that you guys put a lot of effort over at Audible to putting great content on there. So all the folks over at Audible, thank you for just making the product better and better and better. The product's gotten great. I listened to that New York Times update. I give you a free New York Times update. It's great. And the channel feature is great. There's a lot of great content on Audible. Go ahead and get in there, audible.com/twist. I could talk about them for days. It's such a great product. Okay, thanks, Audible.